So this is a quick little inspection video, but also I'm going to go over some of the things we always talk about when I'm looking at drive shafts for people or trying to troubleshoot a drive, the problem that's going on. So, and some of the commonly asked questions and answers and things like that. So, first of all, does a dent in a drive shaft make it vibrate? Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of DIY U-joint changes, and it involves hammers hitting things here, or denting the tubing, or pounding on the yokes. That's never good, and that'll set them off. Straighten a lot of yokes. A ding in the tubing here, within reason, usually doesn't wreck them, but it'll make them vibrate like crazy. This one here has a big dinger in it. Where did it go? Right there. So this one's bent. I mean, it's running out 170 thousandths, so that's a no-brainer. A large part of my drive shaft work is repairing things, and you can see I've sandblasted these yokes. I'm going to scarf that weld out of there and reuse these yokes and retube this tubing, which is repair. And like I said, a significant amount of my drive shaft work is repairing them. I don't always say, oh, you absolutely have to have a new drive shaft every time. I mean, sometimes I build drive shafts for people brand new, but overwhelming majority of them involves fixing them one way or another. This is the front section of that. You can see I've sandblasted it. And so we'll talk about sandblasting for a second. Why do you sandblast them things? It's okay. It'll work. Well, I'm not going to pretend I'm going to indicate something within 3 or 4 thousandths on rust pits that are 30, 40, 50 thousandths high. I sandblast them, see what's under them. This one's really good. I mean, this was a Western truck, but a lot of times underneath a weight, there'll be a hole the size of a quarter underneath a large weight, and nobody even knew it was there. So I always knock the weights off them, examine what's going on, sandblast them, get them down to bare metal, and then they get good primer and good paint on them. So I give the guy back something that's, or girl back, something that's nice and it's going to last, and it's quality that I'm after. I like to do good work. I'm not a close enough, bang it together kind of guy. I mean, I like things that are correct. Last week I talked about 1280 series and the little light duty U-joints, and we're going to talk about U-joints for a second, just in general. A lot of times it's, oh, that center bearing's good, or those U-joints are good. Oh yeah, maybe they are, maybe they're not, but we're going to just say it. China-made U-joints and China-made center bearings, they just don't last, and they never were that great anyway. This one here was on this shaft. I spun this quick in a balancing machine just to see what I was dealing with before I took it apart, and this thing screeched and chirped and clicked. I mean, but yet you spin it with your fingers, it feels a little rocky, but that's not unusual to what I see. So I put good spicer parts on. Basically, the two sayings here that I'm going to just go through. They don't build them like they used to, or you get what you pay for. Well, when it comes to quality parts, you get what you pay for. So that's why I run Spicer. They don't build them like they used to. These Spicer snap tights here are the best U-joints on the road. If you're using the old greasable style like this, waste of money. These will go longer. I mean, they come in modern trucks and cars that still have conventional drive shafts in them. They go 250,000 miles a lot of times, and there's no problem. These things, if you grease them every day, they won't last as long as these do by a factor of probably 5. So then I talked about 1280 last week, and back to the U-joints feel good. I took this out of something last week. It felt okay, but that's what it looks like, and it was destined to fail. I mean, it's on its way. These here are 1280 series. I had talked about it last week. It was just a light-duty version of 1310 back in the day. You can see how the cross is hollowed out to reduce material. These things are 55 years old. I believe these are the original U-joints from a 1967 Ford truck. This truck here. And they did pretty good. They are cut in right now. Once again, they felt okay, but when you examine them, they were due to be changed, but come on, they're 55 years old. So these here were like the beginning of the snap tights that we have today. So they don't build them like they used to. Well, kind of in this case, they did build them like this a while ago, and they've lasted. So it kind of proves out this theory here. So yeah, that pretty much sums up what I was just thinking about as I was working on these, because it kind of totaled up, frequently asked questions or discussions that I have about people's drive shafts, and you know, I just try and make them correct. That's the basic. That's the bottom line. I want my product to be good.